fans, welcome into MLS Now. We are back from MLS Cup, and we are moving right into the next big event, and that, of course, is the expansion draft with Andrew Wiebe. I'm Jason Saghini. This is our mock expansion draft edition. Andrew, very, very tough when you look at these teams to get things right because there are so many variables.
Yeah, a lot of balls in play, and I'm going to say the key word is mock. I will be happy if I get 2 of these picks right. These guys have tough decisions to make on Wednesday. You can follow along 2 p.m. right here on MLSsoccer.com.
All right, this is how we're going to do it. We're going to go pick by pick for the first couple rounds, and then we're going to lay out our full teams to show you how it ended up with some analysis of how we got there, Andrew. And then, of course, we want to know what you guys think of our picks, how you think they might be different. Andrew, you're playing Adrian Heath here. Put your hat on. You're on the clock. Who's your first pick?
Number 1, I think I'm going to go Ben Spies of the Columbus Crew. Hasn't really gotten a chance to shine yet in Columbus, but he could get that in Orlando. I think he's versatile enough to play any of those spots on that 3-man attacking line. He's young, he's relatively inexpensive, he's the type of guy you want to pick up here. Coming off the board, because remember, if a player gets picked, that team can pull somebody back, is Eric Gehrig. The Crew have said they want to re-sign him, negotiating now. Versatile, he comes off.
All right, for New York, I don't think there's any really decision to be made here. Ned Grabavoy left unprotected by Real Salt Lake. A versatile guy, a Christ guy. He can play different midfield positions. I think he's going to New York. And then if I'm Salt Lake, I'm taking Carlos Salcido back. They had that little Twitter blow up, but when you look at a guy like this, he is the biggest asset you have on Real Salt Lake. You're not letting him go for free.
Yeah, Chris Wingert, you have to think, is going to be somebody you or me is going to be eyeing later on. But at number 2, I'm going right back, and that's Mark Bloom of Toronto FC. Orlando need a right back. Not much depth there right now. Bloom in his first year in MLS. Got a good number of starts for Toronto. I know that backline wasn't good, but I figure he takes another step forward, and he's in his prime. Coming off the board, Jackson. That's somebody that both of us are probably looking at down the line.
Yeah, I actually think it's funny because I think Orlando could take Jackson there, and then Mark Bloom would be the guy protected.
Right back? I don't know. Who's your number 2, Jack?
All right, number 2 for me. There aren't a lot of affordable center backs in this pool. I'm going with the one who stands out the most for me, and that is David Horst of the Houston Dynamo. If I'm the Dynamo, I'm pulling back Sammy Incoom. Just traded for him from DC United. I've heard good things about him. Houston probably wants to see him on the field this year.
Yep. Number 3, Patrick Mullins. Not a lot of forwards other than the rumors linking Brian Roches to Orlando. MLS Cup vet. We saw him play well in that game, but wasn't a continued starter with them. Maybe he gets the shot in Orlando. And on New England's side, coming off the board, not Diego Fagundes, because remember, they made an arrangement. There's some allocation money going around that says Diego will stay. Instead, it's another young attacker, and that is Newman. Steve Newman staying in New England.
I was going to take Mullins with my next pick.
Snatch.
All right, I went with Chris Wingert instead. You mentioned him, Andrew. Another guy a Christ is familiar with. A guy who can play different positions along the back line. I could see him potentially later in his career now moving to center back even. We'll see what they're able to do. But the way that I'm looking at this draft for NYCFC is they're probably going to be bringing in more talent in the attacking end of the field. So I'm using this expansion draft to really tie things up along the back line. Let's now skip ahead. We've gone through the whole draft, Andrew. Let's take a look at how your team ended up and some of the highlights.
Yeah, the highlights. I think if you're Heath, you got to love the Arnaud pick here at number 4. We saw what he did in Montreal with that expansion team. Then he goes to DC last year and helps turn around an absolutely terrible team at that time. He's the guy you want in the midfield, veteran presence. He can play those 2 deep-lying spots. Arnaud to Orlando. And then you look down on the left, I'm reinforcing there with Jorge Villafana. Defense, midfield, you can play them both. Todd Donovan, a winning pedigree there as well. Brian Spann, well, he spent last year on loan with Orlando. I think they like him. And then the one that's maybe a little bit of a wild card is AJ Soares. Word on the street and from his agent is that he will go to Europe. But we've seen it before. Teams take shots on guys. They want those rights just in case something doesn't work out. AJ Soares, a starting caliber center back in this league if he ever returns.
Who has Jonathan Bornstein's rights? Because I remember he was
one.
I
think those are still floating around.
He was one that went in the Portland-Vancouver draft. All right, I did one of the same with my New York picks. When you look at the full team, though, before that, Michael Azira, we saw some good things from him in Seattle. He's a stay-at-home central midfielder, a guy who can clean up behind Frank Lampard. And then again, I said reinforcing the back. Known MLS commodities, you know what you're getting. They're not too expensive. Mark Birch, Brandon Barklage, guys who can help you. And then we mentioned it, I took Suni Saad. We expect him to be going over to Thailand, but how long could that last, Andrew?
Who knows? In New York City, that has a certain cachet, a certain pull.
Yeah, if Saad comes back, I think that's a great young offensive talent who can help this team. And then the final guy I'll point out is Kyle Rainish, another guy who was with Christ at Real Salt Lake, a known commodity for Jason Christ, and a guy who can push the goalkeeper position. I don't know that Josh Saunders is a definite starter for this team. So if I'm Jason Christ, I want to get a couple more guys in there to compete.
So on the clock here, how many do you think you got right? Because I'm putting mine at, I'm going to say very, very confidently, 3. I'd be delighted.
I think the over-under is 3. Let us know what you think in the comments section below. Did we get these picks right? Who do you think might be different? And of course, you can watch it here on MLSsoccer.com, 2 p.m. tomorrow afternoon.